It's really hard to believe that people do this in this world.
For the first time, we're hearing from family members of the little girl murdered and found in the streets of Saginaw. As some of the evidence seized from their home is revealed, police say everyone's a possible suspect, even if family members don't agree.
A predator, perhaps, somebody that was maybe watching and waiting.
The news leader, broadcasting for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Police say besides questioning family members in Saginaw, police, are also helping them with grief counseling. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock.
I'm Clarice Tinsley. Relatives of that little girl, including her dad, talked about what's happened. First on Fox 4, Brandon Todd in Saginaw with an update on the murder investigation. Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. And this memorial here at the scene where this little girl's body was found continues to grow. And I'll step out of the way here so you can see this. It's nearly triple what it was yesterday afternoon. And as more people continue to come here and lay down teddy bears and flowers for 6-year-old Alana Gallagher, each person continues to ask why there are still no suspects and still no arrests.
It's really frustrating. It's really surprising. Saginaw is a very small town.
2 days after a 6-year-old girl was found dead, wrapped in a tarp in the middle of the street, this Saginaw community still struggles with why and how this could happen.
The fact that something this tragic happened in the middle, in the open where everybody could see, is just very surprising and shocking, and we're just waiting for answers.
Police confirmed the girl's identity as 6-year-old Alana Gallagher. She lived here less than 2 miles from where her body was found with her mother and 2 men who neighbors say were her fathers. One who was the biological father and the other who shares the last name. But as unorthodox as her home life situation appeared to neighbors, the girl's aunt tells Fox 4 it had nothing to do with Alana's murder.
It doesn't mean that they are vicious people and that they didn't love their children or each other any more than what we do.
Police confirmed during a briefing the family was questioned.
At this time, the family is not suspected. We are basically trying to help them through their time of grief.
But police added no one has been ruled out of the investigation. At the house, with the door partially open, Alana's biological father briefly spoke about the community.
We do appreciate community support. Any help that they can provide the police.
Police stopped short of confirming anything about the crime scene. Witnesses told us they found Gallagher's body in the tarp. The girl had a plastic bag over her head and was bound.
I could see the trash bag, and then there was red tape around the bag, like it was sealed.
But while investigators would not confirm those details, we saw similar items listed on this federal search warrant document in this car window in public view, listing items seized from a vehicle in the driveway of the Gallagher's home, including red tape, plastic bags, and a tarp. Her relatives tell Fox 4 that would make sense since the family had just gone camping.
I think it's somebody that's a really bad person, a predator, perhaps, somebody that was maybe watching and waiting.
Back out live here, investigators did make clear today they believe that this investigation will become more clear once the medical examiner determines the cause of death. Steve, Clarice.
All right, Brandon, we've both covered enough of these to kind of know how the investigation works in some way or another. The police said today the family's not a suspect, but then kind of said nobody has been ruled out, so everybody's a suspect. I guess what I'm wondering about is usually when they think there's an outside entity involved, they really want people to be on the lookout. They try to get descriptions out there. They are talking about somebody dangerous, possibly in this neighborhood, something like that. And I don't think we've heard that. How do we categorize all this? What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's really hard to make sense of any of this. So many things involving this case are up in the air, sort of just a lot of bizarre circumstances. The family's not suspected, police say, but no one is ruled out of that investigation. Of course, that leads you to believe, like you mentioned, that there's some sort of predator out there, but then police say it's an isolated incident and the community is safe. And none of it makes sense. And like you mentioned, Steve, I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen a case like this where there's so many things in a murder investigation just don't seem to add up at all, especially given what you've got as of circumstantial evidence and given what police are releasing and investigators are releasing in this case. And a lot of people here in Saginaw, Steve, as you can imagine, are remembering back, 14 years ago to Opal Jennings.
Yep.
And how she was killed. So a lot of people reminiscing about that and wondering if this might be anything similar.
Let me ask you one other thing. We do need to wrap it up. This evidence sheet that was kind of left on a seat out there in the open, you find anything odd about that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things odd about that. Investigators don't typically leave a lot of things that would be germane to their investigation sitting out in the open like that in the car. So I don't know. You can't speculate at this point, but there's, again, add it to the list, Steve, of things that just don't make sense here.
Okay, right. Brandon Todd in Saginaw tonight. Thank you.